do is we're going to have a couple people come up here and talk to you about what's going on with public education in the state of Virginia. Okay? And the best person that I can think of to give us a good landscape of what is happening happens to be my boss. Dr. Merrill is a 37-year veteran educator. He was a Moorhead Scholar at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill and is currently wearing his hat, where he earned his bachelor's degree in education in secondary English. He then earned a master's degree in educational administration from Appalachian State University and his doctoral degree from the University of North Carolina at Greensboro. Dr. Merrill and his wife Elizabeth have one son, Barrett. Superintendent Dr. James Merrill assumed the superintendency of Virginia Beach Schools, the largest school division in Hampton Roads and third largest in the state, in July of 2006. Since that time, his overriding mission has been to ensure that all students will graduate with the skills they need to succeed as 21st century learners, workers, and citizens. How many of you heard Dr. Merrill speak on Monday about the state of the school system? All right, he's going to give a little bit of a recap of what he talked about there. Please welcome Dr. James Merrill.
Thank you, Dom. You know, I did sort of rework what I was saying the other night, but somehow this feels like a time that says speak from the heart, and so that's really what I'm going to do. I was talking to one of the reporters a minute ago about what some of the themes are. Louder? Yeah. Give me a little feedback. Hey, Sid. Hey.
Whoops, sorry.
Closer to the mic.
You know, the status of funding at state and local is a matter of record. I'm not going to go through those numbers. We're all affected by that. The impact of the local composite index generally in Hampton Roads has hit us all negatively as well. A lot of complicated issues around funding. But when you scratch and pull the lid back, I think what it really comes down to is a matter of respect for public education. And it's just my introduction anyway. What concerns me the most, and I'm pushing almost 40 years in public ed, is the national view on public education, which is nothing but raucous and negative. And it's become faddish to bash public education, whether it's higher ed or K-12. And that's extremely dangerous because it's like a snowball and it collects its own momentum. And so those who suffer ultimately are teachers and kids. And every year it has gotten worse. And it seems to be getting okay that we can blow off public ed and come up with alternatives. You know, and there's a place for school choice. Don't get me wrong. Nationally, whether it's charters, vouchers, there's a place for parent choice. But I'm not at all threatened by giving parents a choice for alternative education. The growth in America of enrollment in public schools has far exceeded the growth of enrollment in private schools over the last 10 to 20 years. We do a tremendous job. And I spent time earlier this week talking about all those things that have been added to our plates since 1900. It would choke a proverbial horse. And yet, if you think about it, we must be pretty good or folks wouldn't keep adding things to us to do, to solve. The amount of money that's decreased out of Richmond over the last 4 years alone in terms of per pupils over $1,000 per child, I've not gone from 5,000 something to 4,000 something. The decrease is over $1 billion in public ed, but the increase in Medicaid, which is needed, is over $2 billion. So we are competing against other needs. We recognize that. The energy that you show in coming today is the same kind of energy that you apply when you're working with the young people. You come out in the storms, and there's a lot of metaphor in this. You stand tall in the storms, and you continue to talk and fight for what's right. I love our teachers. They are the engine of our economy. They are the engine. You know, the success of our nation is in our hands, and folks are frittering with that, and they don't get it. Yes, we're being outcompeted right now in many measures by other nations, but we're still the best institution in America, and the one that's still around. And folks can talk about, you know, associations in some states and unions in other states, but that's not really the issue. The issue is taking care of the young people. We're raising them, we're schooling them, we're preparing them for the future. You guys are doing that. The energy that you focus is not only in what you do, but the parents we serve. We are taking care of their kids. And the enlightened business owners and community leaders that also, and I said enlightened because there's a difference, there's also that value of good schools and good schooling in any community. I speak only for Virginia Beach, but I know Hampton Roads is here this morning. All of Hampton Roads is a great place to live. That's why you're here. We do great by our kids. I can't thank you enough for what you do on a daily basis. You're not paid enough. You're not thanked enough.
Here, here.
The one thing I would point out, this is a time when we can't afford to split ourselves. And folks will try and drive wedges between administrators and teachers, or special ed funding and regular funding. This is not the time for that debate. We are all in this together, and we need to hang together. I appreciate the invitation to come out this morning. It's good to see so many folks I know, and I appreciate your support as well. So, Dom, thanks for the invitation.
Thank you for coming, Dr. Merrill. Leave it to the English teacher to realize there was a metaphor. Very good. See, you never stop. It's good.